think about creativity and innovation, I actually don't start at the deep end and say, what are we creating or what are we innovating? I'm actually starting, if you like, at the primitive end. Why? And whilst we have achieved extraordinary things as a species in recent times, literally lifting hundreds of millions of people out of abject poverty, the reality is that the world continues to move. Many would say that over the next 2 or 3 decades, we're likely to lose around 20% of our biodiversity as measured by number of species. In my own lifetime, I was at a CSIRO board meeting not so long ago and was confronted with the news that in my lifetime, and I'm only going to be on this earth for a blimp as far as the history of this planet is concerned, but in my lifetime, our productive food output will be grown by a factor of 3 times. And all of you know that we have issues about water security, energy security, what do we do about disposal of waste, etc., etc. But we are an intelligent species. Each and every one of you will have extraordinary stories about how, and as Hugh Morgan just put it so well, how rapidly we are coming up with amazing scientific stuff. Let me just give you one example from, again, a CSIRO context. But in the next 3 or 4 months, the global radio telescope community will make a decision as to whether this country or another part of the world will host the world's largest radio telescope. Now, I've known about radio telescopes since I was a kid. The Parkes radio telescope, featured in the dish, part of our national heritage. And there are Parkes radio telescopes all around the world that have been receiving data from outer space for a long, long time. But if we have the right, or given the right, to host the Square Kilometre Array, the world's largest radio telescope array, based in Western Australia, extending over 3,000 kilometres, involving 3,000 separate receiving dishes of all sorts of types and descriptions, when they finally turn the switch on and receive the data, in the first 6 hours, that telescope facility will receive more data than all of radio telescope the sector has received in its entire time in existence. And that is just one of many, many illustrations which sum up the rapidity with which we are actually developing. It is extraordinary. We are in an era where actually, whilst as a species we've developed these extraordinary silos of specialisation. You know, a young doctor nowadays entering the medical profession is often gazing ahead. How detailed in his knowledge can he be in a particular part of medical science? Wonderful stuff. But actually at the same time as we're becoming so specialised, we also need to remain super connected. We particularly in the Western world, have developed 3 great sectors: business, government, and the non-for-profit sector, which does all the stuff that the other 2 can't get their minds around. But never before has there been a need for those 3 great sectors to be more connected and collaborating and working together to solve our massive problems. I think that the greatest thinkers in each of those 3 sectors at the moment are those that are actually thinking outside their sector, looking over the walls and saying, how can I best push some cause forward or improve humanity by actually collaborating with people that I'm actually uncomfortable with. They're wired differently, they're motivated differently, they have different skills, but at the end of the day, there are very few silver bullets nowadays found in one single laboratory. Increasingly, the problems we are dealing with are very complex. It requires a mix of science, humanity, people skills, leadership, effective government, advocacy, whatever it is. And the best and brightest all need to be brought together, notwithstanding that they've come from different places. As individuals, we need to put self second, community first.